I'm back to using the live amp, by the way, which you can sort of hear it coming through on the vocal mic because it's coming from the closet. Something in the closet. And so if I turn off my vocal mic, this is just what it would. Okay, and this is nice and peppy, and I kind of want it to be feel a little bit too fast because it gives you less time to overanalyze. If you got one little lick and you're just doing like, it can absolutely be the much simpler version of this lick. I'm just doing the type of stuff that I like to do, and everyone should have their room to sort of like put the main lick in there and then answer it the way they want. That's where our signature quality comes in. So yeah, that's a little bit spicy. I get it. It's sort of like, you know, we're used to thinking, oh, there's too many notes and information. I need to slow down and study it. This is much more as if someone was just on a jam saying like, yeah, we're doing E minor. I always go upwards with these higher strings, Doug. Yeah. So for bending technique, and there's also be sure to search the word bending and bends. There's entire GWODs about bending. So just a real quick look, and then we got to keep moving. Bending up. The technique on bending is really important. A lot of times people get caught doing this. They try to push with their fingers. You're dead in the water with that. You're never going to have enough oomph. So you got to have more of a turning, like you're turning a doorknob. And you get leverage from turning your wrist. And you want to have your fingers side by side so they're helping each other. And let's say if I'm bending this note right here, that's the 10th fret, second string. If I want to get all the way up there and have some juice to be able to do vibrato, it's going to require that I'm not pushing with my fingers. That's never going to work. I need to turn with my wrist, and I'm pushing up. I would pull down on the string to do a bend if I'm on the lower strings. Maybe something like that for the more subtle bends. Or I might do something if I'm like in the middle here, doing a real subtle thing, and I let my hand hang off for balance. For more of just like a... But for a proper kind of Gilmore-esque or sort of bending up the... It's all going to be using the technique I described with the doorknob and with going up towards the ceiling. Yeah. Yeah, low strings down. But yeah, I'll always trust the song too. The song and the riff is going to be telling you that you need to get the bend to sound the way that you want. So you're going to have to get resourceful. So these are my starting points. When it comes to fingering and when it comes to exact technique with bending, the one thing that I will say is that absolutely make sure is that you're not trying to push the strings with your fingers. That's not enough leverage. Use these muscles and that kind of motion. All right, next riff. What do we got here? Well, this one's fun. This one's kind of a more major thing. This type of stuff. Let's spell it out. Okay, so this is getting into the kind of like the sweet sound, like a bit of that sort of Wonderful Tonight, and the BB sort of. Who can tell me what key are we in? This is our home note right here. We're approaching it from below, right? And we're doing a lot of nice bends right here. Those can bend up a whole step. What do we got here? And notice when I do that, I'm not just doing that for showmanship. I'm doing it because it gives me a real easy way to do vibrato. Because the weight of my fingers, my hand, look, I'm not even touching the back of the neck because I don't need that much force to hold down the string. What I'd rather have is the weight of my hand creating a nice wobble. Yeah, it's G major. And so that bend is really... It's exactly the same spot I was just bending when we were in E minor. So tell me, what are some things you hear me doing to give this personality? Yeah, so that like big vibrato. This is like particularly like let's say slow vibrato, because that's the thing about it that's very different than if this was a appreciate it. Like a little more like sort of amped up, kind of gritty, kind of big slides. Which, please don't ever be afraid of doing something that's kind of impractical but adds vibe. Meaning to go like this. Part of your brain might be saying, well, I don't need to start from down here. I'd rather start here where it's safer to make sure that I'm going to hit where I'm aiming, right? Oh, you got to sometimes just have, think of when BB does like or Stevie Ray does like do something that is like a little outrageous. Like have something in your repertoire that isn't always so sensible. Because a lot of times people say, I want to unlock the fretboard and move around the fretboard. Well, there's a real easy way to move around the fretboard. Like start anywhere and do like a, like just use it. Allow it to be like as if you're on a keyboard. This keyboard sound wouldn't be suitable to it, but like, you know, slide your hand across the keys. Yeah, give it a little something that you have. Just like it is a party trick, and don't shy away from it. Okay, so we have these kind of things going on here, and then I want to add to this sort of an answer. This will be the second half of it. I'll use these blue dots here. And I'll circle that. I know this will look kind of crazy, but these are thirds that I'm drawing here. Okay? Look at these as I go one by one. Just there on the top two strings 1 and 2. Right? That was what we were talking about yesterday. Remember that's where that shape would be. There's G in the C shape. A harmonized melody. This gets you that kind of Los Lonely Boys sound. Remember them? The how far is heaven? Like, right? So strive for that in this case if you're going to follow the lead of what I'm mapping out. To get that kind of sound, that real bright and sort of bouncing sound, you're going to have some tight muting, which means we'll practice that right now. And this is like particularly for like this lick, playing these little thirds, right? So, and also these like quick slides, these sort of like, we'll just say quick slides. Because these are more, that is freezing. These are more the approach notes, right? These little quick. Okay, so to get that feel for that punchy thing, check it out. You're just going to be, let's take this one right here. See that right there as it lights up on the board? It's like jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells. See how, I'll turn off the reverb, see how tight you can make that sound. And I'm just using the squeeze and release of my left hand. If I were to hold it down the whole time, it'd be like that. The moment that I release, it stops it. So you have to do like a squeeze and release. So pluck through and release. Match me on that. See how punchy you can make it. And you can try palm muting too. Now let's try to make it really legato. Let it ring out. Now back to staccato. Now let's move down 2 frets with this exact same shape. Really try to get that punchy thing and make them sound like they're hitting together. Back up 2 frets. Down 2 frets. Now let's go to this last shape, which is just this little, see that's that, there's that D triangle looking shape, or there's a C shape. There's our root. So your goal is to be able to have this like, so that the personality is coming through. On its own, it sounds okay, but it sounds maybe a little bit too nice, a little bit too. Compare that to a little more punch. Okay, so let's build sort of a phrase. I'll show you how it's going to be. We start here. We're going to do the BB lick twice. So we'll go. Now we do the thirds here. Now it all repeats. BB. And it can be real simple. You can just do that much. Now we got the thirds here. Go a few more times. word, describe. In one word, describe how that was going when you were left to your own devices to sort of vibe out and feel the breeze. Yeah, Gary, hang in there. Yeah, you're new and I know you're putting in good numbers and good time. But this is good to get the pattern disrupt, because what I'm teaching, especially tonight, this is a little more like a quick fire kind of, not true fire, more of a quick fire thing. And we are getting a little more into these, what would seem like advanced topics. But again, if this was about trying to teach you the scales, I'm not teaching any scales tonight. But what I am doing is like, hey, follow my lead, put your fingers where my fingers are going. And if you're familiar with these shapes, that would make it easier. But if this is brand new to you, just focus on the attitude. Just focus on the idea that this is about the expressive quality of the notes. So feel free, feel encouraged, and this goes for everyone. If I'm showing this many notes, like, just do this. Get that going so it feels good, because that is absolutely like, if it was a shootout and it was like, hey, gunslinger. Versus like, I'll just do this. All day I want that person in my band. I could have a blast vibing off of that kind of sound. Just keep it simple. And just play it with rhythm and intention. And that's what all this is about. The whole theme of this week is just like, if you've got a list of things, and I'm begging you, please write some of these things down in your own terminology. Like, these are not textbook things. Sure, legato, these things are like terms, but make them your own so that you have, like, that channel that I always talk about. They're great. Open Studio, Jazz. They do these incredible shorts. You've seen them. I've dropped them in the community. They had one today that they put out a little while ago, and it's Peter, the guy who's a fantastic piano player. He's on the drums. They're just sort of goofing around, and Adam is playing the keyboards, and they're talking to each other and naming these different like chord substitutions, just in terms of like, oh, this one's like the back door, this one's the side door, this one's the Dominique Wilkins from above, and they just have these nicknames for the chord movements that, sure, if someone told them they had to describe it in terms of like classical, like Neapolitan 6 or whatever, maybe they could, but it's so irrelevant compared to just knowing how to grab the flavors that you like. And so whatever you put into your list, put it in there, put it in your bloodstream, and make sure it counts. So let's do one more groove. And this one is, if you were around for the arpeggios, this is going to be a bit of a callback to the arpeggios. And this is going to give you a chance to sort of like evoke some of those movements. If you're not familiar with that, then who cares? Let's just play some chords. We'll cool off a bit here. Again, we got this like just vibalicious keys. I love it. It's just dreamy. Who can name these chords by any chance? I'll map them out. But this is a very different feeling to this music. A very different kind of like mood, right? Oh yeah, I love Mary Had a Little Lamb. That tune's great. Yeah, as far as that leg group, yeah. So it's got this nice little build up, and then it goes C major 7, F major 7, B flat major 7, and then back to C major 7. Does that twice. Just play a regular C major 7 there, that's great. F major 7 here. And maybe this bar chord right here. Satisfying, nice, lovely. Now this part goes to G7. We get a chance to play a dominant chord. And then A minor. A minor 7 if you want. Then a D7. And it does an F up to a G. So if you're ready, just play the chords. And if you're feeling comfortable as you map out the chords, could you start to try to recall some of those arpeggios that we had last week? So it does that twice. minor, D7, F. Using those thirds again. Focus on dynamics here. Like really light and lovely and airy for this entire first section, like the verse. Light strums. Really sort of pretty textures. Delicate, maybe play some nice little arpeggios. Now we try to build some of the intensity. Try to increase the dynamic. Now bring it back down. Right? All of a sudden we have this nice breath. With the chords very simply. You could be playing a regular F chord there. Be like, I don't know major seventh. I missed that one. But then here we want to try to bring up the like, almost treat it like a Beatles kind of bridge. Great. Breathe. It's just guitar. And it's good to be here. I'm glad you're kicking it. Hope your week is going well. As you may have seen, I was hanging out with none other than Guthrie Trapp yesterday. That was pretty freaking cool. We went and grabbed some coffee, and he showed me this, the inside of this venue that I saw go up a couple years ago in Nashville, but it's really cool on the inside. And he's actually brewing an in-person event that's going to be way off in October. And we were exchanging notes, and I was saying, yeah, the Nash Bash is going to be pretty cool. The Drift Hotel, it's a good spot. It's got, it's got a nice lobby. That's right. And it's going to be a vibe. I want to show you like a little video that I made if you haven't seen it. I mean, come on, what are you doing with your life? Because this was, this took a while to produce. I'm not going to lie. To create this video. We picked up Adam recently. Who else is interested? Let me know if you're on the fence. You can reach out, ask me questions. I've been trying to like dial in some of the details for people. But this is important here, so watch this. This is good. Oh, hey, guitar friend. If you're thinking about coming to the Nash Bash, our first ever in-person event, together, hanging, jamming, and you're wondering what it's all about,